Hello everybody and welcome to Parks Bros. It's Drew here, and today we're heading to Branson, Missouri, and more specifically Silver Dollar City to rank, rate, and review all of their roller coasters. That's right, we've finished up at least the first batch of reviews from the park known as Silver Dollar City, and that means that we're going to be looking to every single roller coaster and ranking, rating, and reviewing them. I'll have a 1-minute time limit to quickly review every single one of these rides, and at the end, I'll give an idea of how experienced of a roller coaster rider you should be before taking on that specific coaster, and my personal rating out of 10. So without further ado, let's hop in and rank, rate, and review all 7 roller coasters at Silver Dollar City. At the very start of this list, it should be no surprise, this is the Grand Exposition Coaster, the park's gravity model ride by Zamperla. This little roller coaster is meant generally for kids, as it does have the lowest height and speed of any roller coaster at the park. I would say it's the perfect first roller coaster for a little one though. Do be warned of a little bit of extra lateral forces kind of pushing you side to side even as an adult, but outside of that, it's a heck of a lot of fun, at least if you're not too tall. This is perfect for beginner riders, and out of 10, I would give it a 3. Next up is actually a ride that I think is one of the best of its kind, and this is Thunderation and Arrow Mine Train. Now, while it might be towards the bottom of this list, in terms of all Arrow Mine Train coasters, it's probably in the top 3 in the world. It's got some really exhilarating drops, including one right out of the station, and goes into a completely forested area, so sometimes you don't even know where you're going. It can be quite a bit bumpy in some portions as it shows its age, but I will say personally it adds quite a bit of charm. It was an instant favorite for me at the park, and I would recommend being an intermediate coaster rider before taking on Thunderation, and out of 10 I would give it an 8. Coming up next is the B&M sit-down coaster, that's right, Wildfire. This ride originally opened in the early 2000s and has easily one of the most stunning views on any ride out there. As you overlook the entirety of a valley from the top of a hill that is completely filled with foliage and trees, it is just absolutely gorgeous, especially, I'm sure, when the leaves are changing colors. This flying machine takes you through many inversions, the first coaster with inversions on this list, including an Immelman loop, a vertical loop, a cobra roll, and even a corkscrew, as you'll be nearing speeds of 60 miles an hour. This ride is fairly fun and fairly smooth, but it is way more intense than any coaster we've mentioned thus far, so I would say be an experienced coaster rider before checking out Wildfire, and out of 10, this also gets an 8. Now, this next ride is probably going to be the most controversial part of this list, as many people don't even consider it a roller coaster. That debate aside as well, I have a feeling a lot of you are not going to agree with it being this high in the list, but this is Fire in the Hole. I'm not going to say much as there are plenty of surprises in store with this ride, but it is truly unlike anything else I've experienced in all of the theme parks I've visited thus far. There's some really amazing storytelling as well as plenty of theming, and also in terms of duration, it is quite long, and while this ride might be 50 years old, man, it is still a hoot. With that said though, I think you can be a beginner coaster rider to try out Fire in the Hole, although some of this ride will be a little bit too intense for especially the very little ones in your party. And out of 10, honestly, I think it's a 9. That charm is just unmatched. Hopping into the top 3, it's gonna be quite the battle, as first we'll head to the park's launch coaster, at least the first launch coaster it built, the S&S and Premier Ride coaster, Powder Keg. This pneumatic launch coaster has you going across switch tracks, up lift hills, and launching all the way over 50 miles an hour. This ride is seriously quite the Frankenstein, literally and figuratively, as it originally was a water coaster. Well, S&S came in and changed some of Premier's work and made it a launch coaster. but still used a lot of the older track pieces from the original ride. This coaster will feature, of course, an amazing first launch, as well as plenty of great airtime moments and some of the most insane lateral forces pushing you to the left-hand side for longer than you even thought would be possible, before taking you up a full-size chain lift and giving you a little bit more airtime in there too. In the grand scheme of coaster design, this thing is quite wacky, but man, I absolutely adore it. I think it's a very solid ride, and I would definitely recommend being an experienced coaster rider for this as well, as that launch is the most intense launch in the park, and some of the forces experienced can be a little bit more than you might be expecting. And out of 10, this also gets a 9. All right, we've made it to the top 2. Is it going to be Time Traveler or Outlaw Run in this spot? Well, if you've seen my reviews, you would know Time Traveler is in my official second spot at the park. Time Traveler is the newest roller coaster at Silver Dollar City, opening in 2018, and it was the first of its kind. This Mack Rides extreme spinning coaster not only launches you twice, drops you out of the station with a 90-degree drop, and features plenty of inversions, it also spins. Now, while that might sound insane, it honestly is a lot more family-friendly than you'd even think. Sure, it's spinning, but it's a more controlled spin, so you're not spinning like a brand new top on Christmas Day, but it definitely makes every single ride a completely different experience. Add in that amazing first drop towards the back row, and some of those incredible inversions, and of course, those 2 awesome launches, and Time Traveler is just some of the best work I've seen in the United States for a brand new roller coaster. This is definitely a fan favorite and is probably the most popular roller coaster at the park as of now, but I would definitely say be an experienced coaster rider before taking this on, just because of the launches, inversions, and spinning. And out of 10, this also gets a 9. All right, you know what number 1 is at this point. It's Outlaw Run, the RMC Topper Track wooden coaster. And while stat-wise it might not be the most impressive roller coaster at the park, man, does it pack a punch. Absolutely every moment on this roller coaster just hits you in a very different way, and I adore that variety. It features 3 different inversions, yes, on a wooden coaster no less, and more airtime than you can even think, especially for its shorter track length. A ridiculously steep drop, some overbank turns, and of course that double heartline roll finale is just impeccable. The pacing is near perfection. Oh, and of course, since there's some wood on that track, you get a little bit of that shaky, unpredictable vibe that only a true wooden coaster can provide. Or at least I used to think so. As this ride will be turning 10 years old soon, this roller coaster is at least the star in my mind at the park, and I can't wait to go out there and ride it again ASAP. With all that said though, I would definitely say be an experienced coaster rider for this as well. I think this is the most intense roller coaster at the park overall, and out of 10, it's an easy 10 for me. Well, let me know, what do you think your top 3 roller coasters at Silver Dollar City are down in the comments below, especially if you don't agree with me, and that's completely okay. It is my list after all, and I'm different from every one of you out there. I still want to say thank you so much for watching and tuning in. I really do appreciate it, and if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe. We're going to have more of these types of videos, and of course, plenty of more full in-depth reviews if you want to know my full thoughts on many of these roller coasters, and those reviews will be all linked in the top right corner. Make sure to buckle up and pull that restraint down though, because we've got full in-depth reviews coming from Kings Island, Holiday World, Kentucky Kingdom, SeaWorld Orlando, and even Busch Gardens Tampa in just the next couple of months. So I hope you're all ready, but of course, thank you again so much for watching, and until next time, we'll see you on the next ride.